everybody, welcome back to Hunt Creative. Today we're going to be making some LED scatter terrain from lids, leftovers, and acrylic bits and pieces. Here you see I've got some parts all laid out ready to go. In a previous video I made these little crater hive funnel things with batteries and openings for LEDs in them. And I made them out of solo shot glasses. And I had these bottoms of the glasses left over from that build. But I didn't want to throw them away because I thought I'd find a use for them. And today I'm going to turn them into braziers, or brazier stands for on-table gameplay, and they're also going to be lit up with LEDs. These things are great. These are juice container lids. Everybody knows what these are. These neo-Gothic juice bottle lids. Seen them in a lot of crafts. I'm going to turn these into extra large braziers. Just going to drill a hole in the top of this one really quickly so that the LED bulb can pop through and light up the gaming crystals, acrylic gaming crystals that I'm going to use to represent a bed of embers. There you see, just a quick little hole drilled in the top so that the LEDs can fit through. Sorry for my focus, my phone's not that good at rapid focus changes. And then these are just some little 6mm 1/4" magnets that I have on hand. And I'm going to glue one into the bottom of each of these pieces. And what that does is it holds the watch battery that lights up the LED. Just a little drop of hot glue, and I'm going to push the magnet in, and that will be all we need to do. Super easy. Sorry for my off-screen work. I'm getting the hang of this. There we go. There's the magnet on the bottom. Glue one into this one. This one's already painted black, coated with black craft paint and Mod Podge to protect it. You'll find that these solo cups are quite slick, and so you'll need to coat them with Mod Podge to get the paint to stick properly. This one is coated with aquarium gravel as well as having been painted black, and it's almost ready to go. Just moving some glue out of the opening for the LED. And this one I have little cut pieces of cereal box card attached to it to represent stonework, a little stone plinth for an LED, but I wasn't too happy with how this one came out, so I'm going to revisit it in a future video. I'm just taking my time to put a little magnet in each one of these things. There you can see I had a smaller magnet in these, but it wasn't strong enough for my needs, and so I'm just replacing it with a slightly larger magnet. And that's all we need to do. And I'm just going to test some of them with a little LED and battery to make sure that they work. Just in my previous video, I showed you how to modify these LED diodes to fit around these magnets, and now I'm just going to pop one into one of these. This one isn't fitting quite right, so I'm going to have to revisit the hole and make it a little larger. But this other one works just fine. Another battery and LED combo. Fits in there just fine. So now we're going to make some clip-on wall sconces lit with LED diodes and some gaming crystal. As you can see in the picture, they look great. You move all this stuff out of the way. I'll show you the one that I made as my prototype. So I got a 2" by 2" square of foam core with black paper around it. You drill a little hole in that for the LED to poke through. here you can see I've got a little hollow inside where the battery sits. So make a little indentation in the back side of this riser where the magnet can sit. You can see I'm just pushing the magnet in place here to hold it for now. Once it's sitting the way I like it, I'll add some hot glue. Just to keep it from popping out. And then I'm going to make the separator for the clip-on out of 2 strips of foam core with black paper, same as the one I have there. I'm just sizing them up so that they leave a half-inch reveal in between the inside and the outside of my clip-on to go around the stub walls of my dungeon tiles or my tavern tiles, as the case may be. And I'll attach them with a little hot glue. Get them lined up on the side and the top of this piece, this riser. I'll do the other side. And the space in between these 2 strips allows the watch battery and LED to sit. Now I'm going to attach the back of the clip, and it's kind of an exaggerated U-shaped piece. It's a little bit shorter than the top of the front riser where the LED will stick out. And there's a reason for that. So now I'm going to add some of my tiny little magnets in strategically. Nope, I'm going to glue on the little piece of foam core that acts as a brazier cup to hold the oil. Peel the paper off the front of it so we can texture it a little bit. And then I'm going to glue a little piece of acrylic gaming crystal in an orange color to mimic the flame coming out of the brazier. I had a bunch of these on hand for making hobby board games. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little cap that covers up that gap and makes it look nice and clean. And I'm using tiny little 3mm magnets for this. You can see here that I'm getting those lined up, and I've got another stack that I'm going to glue in place on the other side. And then once the glue is set, I'll peel off the unadhered magnets. And there they are side by side. Now I'm going to make this little lid that covers up the battery well. So I've got 2 little pieces of foam core designed to fit right where those magnets are and close off that U and be level with the top. I'm going to add 2 little magnets to this, same as before. Just make sure they're good and stuck in there with a little hot glue from the nozzle. Looking good. Trimming off a little excess hot glue squeeze out with my X-Acto knife. Be very careful, these are sharp. Don't want anybody to get hurt. And there's the bridge piece, looking good. And I'm just going to glue a little filler piece in between the risers of the clip feature after I trim this to size. Using relative dimensions here, so I cut it a little bit bigger and then I trimmed it down to fit exactly. And there's that filler piece going in between the risers. glue on that, and I'll add the bridge piece. You could call it done here. I mean, technically speaking, this clip-on would work just like this, but I'm going to clad the outside with a little bit of black poster paper to cover the battery well, and to cover the rough edges of the top of the clip-on. Give it a little more strength and durability in play. Just using hot glue again. And I'll glue a piece across the top, but I'll only put glue on the removable filler piece, just to be sure we don't want it sticking together. I want to be able to pop this off and put the bulb and battery in there, just like that. I'll trim the paper to size, relative dimensions, more exact fit that way, and there we have it. Now I'm going to use those little end pieces from the solo cups to make bronze LEDs. Bronze braziers, rather. So here's one that's painted black, ready to go. See the magnet on the bottom? I'm just going to pop it onto the bottom of an empty craft paint bottle, and I'm going to sponge on a bronze colored paint, just roughly. And what this does is it gives definite bronze coloration to this piece, but it leaves some of the undercoating black showing through, which gives it a little bit more realistic weathered appearance for a bronzed fixture. You can see, real simple, real easy. Set it to dry. We're going to use our juice lids to make bigger, beautiful bronze braziers. Giant size braziers, that is. I use quite a few more of these acrylic crystals that I have. So I've taken my game lid and I've painted one of them black. Drilled a hole in the middle. I took some cereal card, pardon my nose, took some cereal card and made a ring just about the size of the lid top, just like this. Overlapped a little bit of it. And I just fitted it so it was the size that I wanted. Left a little bit of a rim, but not too much. And then once that was done, I hot glued it in place. My hot glue gun. Painted it black, just like this one. And then I glued in a layer of my acrylic gaming crystals, like these ones, all to cover the top of the lid. But I left a space where the LED would come through. I don't have quite enough crystals here, but you get the point from the pre-painted ones. Now I'm pulling an LED out of one of my previously made pieces, and I'm going to pop it into my juice lid. I'm not sure why we're going in slow motion for this clip, but it's short. It's almost over. I'm not going to worry about it. You can see there that the paint is flaking a little bit along the edge. These juice lids are also quite slick, and so they benefit from a coating of Mod Podge as well to help the paint stick. And there's one of the giant sized braziers with an LED in it. And now I'm just going to paint the outside, dry brush, heavily overbrush with that same bronze color that I used on the bottoms of my solo cup brazier stands. Taking my time, making sure I hit all of the key places with the bronze color so that it pops on the table. Looks good. Just using dollar store or craft brushes. They're super cheap and easily replaced if I need more. They've lasted me a long time. I'll just go around the outside of that cereal card rim. And then these are Solo Cup Magma Funnels scatter terrain. So I took a Solo Cup, painted it black, drizzled hot glue over the top to form runnels of magma coming out the top, and I made a ooey gooey hot glue top for the Solo Cup. And I painted the hot glue runnels red, orange, and yellow to mimic the temperature differentiated magma coming out the top. Here I'm just doing the yellow highlights. I've already done red and orange. And then I'll sponge the black parts of the Solo Cup with a mixture of medium gray and a camel tan color to make it look like rock. And I'll glue some aquarium gravel around the base of the outside. You can see here I'm not being too fussy about my paint coverage. I want to suggest magma, but I'm not going to win any Golden Demon Awards for painting scatter terrain. Just looking for the hottest magma to be at the top or the outside, and the coolest magma to be in contact with the rock funnel. And that's what this tri-color scheme sort of allows me to do. And I also decided I could make a Mystic Fountain and a Hive Egg scatter piece the same way. So I took a Solo Cup and I painted it black. I drizzled hot glue over the top, just like this. These ones I sponge painted a little bit before I painted the hot glue, just as a change up of my methodology to see which worked better. And I'm just roughly sketching in the gooey green ichor from the Hive Egg scatter. I'm going to use 3 different gradiated colors of green. So medium green, lighter green, kind of a lime green for this bad boy. And then here on the Mystic Fountain, I'm starting with kind of a navy blue color. Just painting the hot glue drizzles that I've allowed to drip and cool naturally as they flow over the edge of the top of this dollar store Solo Cup. Just getting those smooth transitions looking good. Paint the top. There's a little bit of a well in the middle there to make space for the LED that will pop through later. Look how dirty that palette is. I should really clean it one of these days. I'm just going over the medium green with a slightly lighter green, just catching the top parts of the drizzles. I don't want to cover up all of the medium green that I've already used. I want some of that to show through. And here I'm using kind of a medium blue to go over my navy blue, and again, just the top parts of the drizzles. It's kind of a wettish blend technique because my previous layer of paint isn't quite dry, so there might be a little bit of flow differential and mixing happening, and I'm okay with that. That'll look good. Just do my best to make it look as good as I can make it. And here you see I'm adding some vibrant limeish green, and I'm just adding some dots and highlights and drizzly trails as the final gross green ichor highlight coming out of this hive tunnel, hive entrance, whatever you want to call it. And to protect my pieces while on the table in play, I'm going to give them a generous coat of matte finish Mod Podge, and that will help protect the paint from flaking off, and it will help protect the pieces from getting wear and tear while they're moved in and out of storage and on the table. That's a good step and good advice for all of your crafting pieces. Just using a cheap craft brush here, and I'm slathering it all around on the surfaces. Note that I'm not painting the glittery orange acrylic game crystal with the Mod Podge, because it's not really in any danger of wear and tear, and if I coat it with matte Mod Podge, it won't sparkle and glisten quite the way it does right now. And I want to preserve that glistening feel. And the same for my clip-ons. I'm going to coat all of the surfaces except the acrylic game crystal, because I want that to continue to sparkle when the LED is lit up inside it. Pardon my off-screen work. There we go, and I'll do the other parts as well. Just slapping the Mod Podge on to keep it from getting worn and torn. My gravel-colored stone plinth for braziers. And my bronze-colored brazier plinths. I just have them on top of a solo cup here so that they're easy to handle. One of the ones that was cut up. And I'll do the last one. I'll get the other remaining surfaces of my wall clip-on braziers. And the lids. And there we go, all coated with Mod Podge. And here are the finished product on table with some minis for scale. They're all looking good. Join me in 2 weeks in August, and I'll show you some more crafts that I made from dollar store solo cup shot glasses. But for now, thanks for joining me. Feel free to click subscribe or like if you get value from these videos.